Hello, everyone. Mark Meckler here, president of Convention of States, and it is, believe it or not, 2024. It's hard to believe it's already upon us. 2023 is behind us. It was a chaotic year. 2024 is looking to be more chaotic, if that's possible. And the question that I've been asking myself is as we head into 2024, what is something very simple that we can do? What's a simple narrative that we can pursue? What do we have to do as a theme in order to restore our republic? And the thing that keeps coming to me over and over is a very simple phrase, not always so simple to do, but a very simple phrase, which is just say no. No. Think of the in bold block letters on a shirt, maybe in your mind, no, exclamation point, no. And what do I mean by just say no? I mean, just say no to all the madness in the world. Say no to woke ideology. Say no to critical race theory. Say no to the DEI institutions oppressing us. Say no to an overreaching federal government. What's all of that look like in the real world? Let's walk through a little bit of that because I think this is going to be important for you to stay sane and for us to accomplish recovering our republic. So let's talk about saying no, for example, to woke ideology. You hear woke ideology everywhere you go. You see it in stores like Target, Target with their displays of gay pride or transgender stuff. You can just say no by number one, refusing to shop there. You should never, ever, never go back to Target again, no matter what they do. Target should be dead to us. Just say no to Target. As part of saying no, you should be bold. Don't just walk away. Don't just decide not to get out of your car or not to stop at Target. Go into Target and say to management, I will never stop here because of your embrace of gender ideology. I will never shop in this store again. I was one of your customers and I will not be your customer ever again, and walk out. Just saying no means saying no boldly and brashly in public so that there is a price to pay for those who engage in these things. Corporations, individuals, churches, government, they need to pay a price. They need to feel an appropriate amount of shame for what they're doing. So just say no to the corporate entities that are abusing your values. That goes for Bud Light as well. InBev is the parent company of Bud Light. I've made it a thing not to buy any InBev beverages. You should look up that list online. You should absolutely never, ever, no matter what they do, ever buy Bud Light or InBev products ever again. That corporation should be dead to you. Their stock price is paying the price for that. We have to just say no to stuff like this. When you see corporations embrace gender ideology, you have to say no to that. It's not enough to just say no. You have to explain to them why you're saying no. Walk up to a cashier, talk to a clerk, be polite but firm, and explain to them why you're not going to do business with them any longer. Make them feel the price they're paying. Better yet, ask for a manager. Call the manager over and say, hey, with all due respect, I just want you to understand, I've been a Target customer for a long time. I bought Bud Light before. I'm not doing those things anymore because these companies, you as Target or Bud Light or InBev, have adopted these ideological positions, which are the antithesis of my value set. And so I'm not going to participate in that. I'm saying no. Just say no. Say no at work. This is risky. This is dangerous. This could have a personal consequence for you. At work, they might make you take DEI training. Just say, I'm not going to do it. Put your job on the line. I know that's asking a lot, but the republic is at stake. Our culture is at stake. Western civilization is at stake. Just say, I'm not going to do it. Talk to other employees. See if you can get other employees to not do it with you. There is safety in numbers. If you're at a big company and 50 or 100 employees say we're not doing this stupid, offensive DEI training, then they may not impose it on you. They may. You may still lose your job. It's possible, but you should just say no. The same is true if they start to try to force us to take vaccines again. Just say no. We've seen the consequences. We've seen the risks. We understand the health disasters that are coming from the vaccine being imposed on so many people. They're now trying to impose it on small children, on babies. Just say no. Think of that word in big block letters with an exclamation point in your mind. Put it on a shirt. No. Just say no. I was wearing a shirt this morning that says, I will not comply with the will of tyrants. I will not comply with tyrants. Just say no at work. Say no at church. You might belong to a church, and many churches fit this description that are embracing woke ideology. They're embracing gender, crazy, wild, radical gender ideology. They're welcoming that stuff into your church. Just say no. I'm leaving the church if you continue to do this. And bring others with you. Organize. Talk to your pastor. Talk to your small group leaders. Talk to your youth group leaders and let them know, if you continue to do this stuff, we are leaving this church. There are plenty of churches out there that are not embracing this kind of ideology, this DEI, this gender ideology, this critical race theory. There are plenty that are going back to the fundamentals of the gospel. You should and you must speak up at church. It will make you unpopular. The apostles were unpopular. Jesus was unpopular. But they were saying things that were true and right, and you are to stand for things that are true and right, and you are to say no to things that are wrong and incorrect and unjust and unrighteous. Say no at church. Your church friends might not like that you're doing this, but you must do this. You must do this. It will require sacrifice. It will require pain on your part. Pain is a part of everybody's life. It has two parts. You can have the pain of discipline, of saying no, or you can have the pain of regret of doing the things that you don't actually believe in, of going along to get along. I can tell you the price of pain for discipline is much less than the lifetime forever pain of regret. Do not have the pain of regret. Say no. This is the year that you can say no. You can say no in your group of friends. You might be having lunch with friends, and one of your friends starts talking about how we should trans the kids, how it's okay, how parents should be allowed to decide to mutilate their children, how we should allow hospitals and clinics to mutilate our children. And you should speak up and you should say, no, that's child abuse. That's wrong. That's not gender affirming care. That's child mutilation. That's child abuse. No, I'm going to stand in front of that. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to go to my legislature and tell them to pass bills to stop this. I'm going to protest at the drag queen story hour. I'm going to say little children shouldn't be exposed to this insanity, this perversion, this bizarre, sick, twisted gender ideology. I'm going to be the person who stands up. When you do, you will pay a price. You might be the person who doesn't get invited to lunch anymore, who doesn't get invited to Bible study anymore, who doesn't get invited to your social groups anymore, doesn't get invited to watch the ball game with your friends anymore. They might say, wow, what happened to Mark? I mean, he became so radicalized. He's saying no to all this stuff. You have to be the person who says no. I'm willing to say no. I'm willing to pay the price, and I'm willing to stand with you if you're willing to pay the price. But this is the year 2024 when we better pay the price. The piper's here. We better pay him, or we're going to lose our country. This is the year to say no to critical race theory. Critical race theory is teaching our society at large, our kids in preschool, our kids in grammar school and middle school and high school, young people in colleges and postdoctoral educations, postgraduate education, teaching them to hate each other based on race. It's teaching our young people, it's teaching our entire society, it's building a society around the idea that we're different because we're different races, that what matters is the color of our skin and not the content of our character. And we have to say no to that. No, that's racist. You have to call that out for what it is. You have to say it's racist. When you hear that, when you hear people talk about critical race theory, when you hear people talk about systemic racism, when you hear people talk about victim versus oppressor, when you hear people talk about the colonizers and saying that the United States is a colonizing country or Israel's a colonizer, you have to say no. You're not going to play into that kind of ideology. It is evil. It is wrong. And the way we stop that is by saying no. This is year 2024 is the year of the revolution of no. No, I won't do that. No, you can't make me step across that line. No, you can't make me say things I don't believe. No, you can't make me do things I don't believe. No, no, no. I'm going to stand on principle. I'm going to stand on what's right, what's righteous, what I know. I'm going to stand on facts and truth. For me, I'm going to stand with what I know that I have been taught by God, by the living God. I know I'm going to stand on biblical principle no matter what, no matter the cost. 2024 is the year of saying no. You might get the knock on your door. It might be the FBI. It might be other law enforcement. It might be somebody from the DOJ. It might be the IRS. And you're going to have to be able to stand in the face of that kind of pressure because you have to ask yourself, who do you want to be in the end? It's not about what you have. It's not about what you can accomplish. It's not about how other people look at you. It's about how you see yourself when you look in the mirror. Who do you want to be? I'm very blessed because I am surrounded by people like you, millions of people like you all over the country, citizens, activists, grassroots folks, regular people, people in what the elites call flyover country, and good people in the coastal cities also, where we think of only the blue mess that's going on out there, only the progressive elites, but there are good people there too. And I'm surrounded by you and I am buoyed by you. I'm lifted by you. I'm given hope and courage by you. And I want you to understand that there is hope aplenty out there. There is courage aplenty out there if you draw on people like me, on people like your neighbors who believe the way you do, on people like some of your fellow churchgoers who believe the way that you believe. There is hope out there and there is victory out there. 2024 is the year of the revolution of no. This is when, if you haven't done it yet, you begin to say no. When you hear stuff being taught at your children's school, you go in and you say, no, you cannot teach my children this. I will not stand for this. You pull your kids out if you have to. You put them in private school. You homeschool them. You do whatever you have to do to say no, but you speak up. You use your voice. You use your strength. You use your courage and you say no. I'm not asking you for too much. I'm asking you for only what's necessary to save our country, only what's necessary to save Western civilization. And when I say I'm not asking you for too much, I don't mean I'm not asking you for a lot. I understand that this isn't easy, especially when you're the first in your community, the first in your church, the first in your school, the first at work. That is a difficult place to be the first person to stand and say no. But you might be surprised that when you stand and say no, others will stand and follow. They will step up to that line and they will stand with you and they also will say no. And in 2024, I don't want to be entirely negative. We're not just going to say no, we're also going to say yes. I'm going to start by saying yes to God. What do you want, Lord? What do you want from me? What can I do for you? How can I serve you? How can I say yes? How can I be obedient? I'm going to start with that. And then I'm going to say yes to the truth, to the things that I know are true and that I'm willing to fight for because they are true. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to fight for that which is righteous and good and true and just and noble. And I'm going to focus on those things. I'm going to say yes to fulfilling my obligation to my family. I'm going to say yes to fulfilling my obligation to my kids, to my wife, to my parents, to my community, to my state, to my country, and to my God. I'm going to say yes a lot. And that means it's going to be harder. There's more work to do if I say yes. I'm going to worry less about my income and more about the fight for liberty. I'm going to worry less about my stature and more about just speaking the truth and doing what's right. I'm going to say yes a lot more. I'm going to say yes to making sure that I'm part of ensuring that good people get elected. I'm going to say yes to make sure that I'm part of ensuring election integrity. I'm going to say yes personally to more speaking engagements, to more travel, to more time on the road where I can do the most good out there. I'm going to say yes everywhere I feel like I can do the most good. And I need you to weigh in and do the same thing. I need you to say no, because 2024 is the year of the no revolution. No to all the bad things, yes to all the good things, and to commit yourself to being in the fight. For these reasons, because 2024 is going to be a crazy year, I pledge to you my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor. And I hope you'll consider doing the same. Your life, your fortune, and your sacred honor to your fellow citizens who are saying no to tyranny and yes to what is right. And as we go into 2024, I can guarantee you, I'm going to be standing side by side with you. I'll be in the fight. I'll be traveling around the country, and I look forward to seeing you there with me.